Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to either today's second half or a bonus, whichever I choose. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click that like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and guys, it definitely matters. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with tonight's second half or bonus, shall we? All right, guys, so the reason why I said bonus or second half, I'm not really sure, was because I didn't have any intent on this being a second half. I was sitting relaxing in the studio. I was actually watching episode 4 of The Pacific, which many of you may have seen. It's about World War II. And I received a phone call. Now, I usually turn my phone off while I'm relaxing, but I just happened to look at my phone and I turned the ringer off. But I recognized the number. It was a Texas number, so I picked it up. And it was from the border cross agent who I had spoken to in regards to him witnessing a Dogman attack on these people crossing the Rio Grande, or as in Mexico, the Rio Bravo. And I said, hey, what's up? You know, how's it going? Da, 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 da. And he really didn't sound himself. He's a pretty upbeat guy for what he had witnessed. And what he saw was about a month ago. So it's pretty fresh with him. And he's still coming to terms with what he's seen, the mass carnage and all of that. Well, I said, you know, what's going on? You know, you don't sound really like how you normally sound. He's pretty, like when I say upbeat, he's kind of a funny guy. He's, you know, really, for what he saw and what he goes through on a daily basis, he's got just a really good personality. Nice individual, but he kind of sounded down. And apparently he had gotten a phone call from his partner's wife, the one who had taken the shot at the Dogman, or 2 shots, excuse me. He was using a 7mm. Where he shot the creature was in the shoulder and in the pelvic region while it was standing bipedally. They were pretty sure that it had died because it was not rage fueled after it received that second shot. I think maybe it was an adrenaline dump on the first, and it's, you know, proceeded to do the killings. But the second shot was what just really took any kind of fire out of it. So apparently the gentleman who had fired the shot received a phone call last night and told his wife, I've got to go. into work, which is out of the norm. They have schedules that they follow to a T, certain procedures that they have to follow to a T. Usually they all have worked together for the last 4 to 5 years. The gentleman that I have spoken to has been with the border division for 5 years. He didn't receive a call last night, nor did the other gentleman, or another person that they usually work with. There was 3 on hand that day. There's usually a 4th member that they work with. They don't know where he went. They don't know where he is. They don't know anything. They don't even know who called him. That's the strangest part, because it was a call on his cell phone, and he had taken his cell phone with him to go to, air quotes, work. Now, I asked him, I said, well, do you think that this has anything to do with what went down? And he said, I don't honestly know. I said, do you think it has anything to do with talking to me? And he said, no, I really don't believe that it has anything to do with you and I talking. Otherwise, it probably would be me missing. But I think that possibly by him shooting that monster, that creature, it put him on a kind of watch list by the men who interviewed them. He doesn't think that they were too keen on having that creature killed, because they didn't act like they were more concerned with the shot that was taken, or the 2 shots that was taken on that creature, than the massacre that these men had just witnessed. It was almost like they didn't care about the men, women, and children who were killed. So I said, well, what do you think? You know, I've talked to him about how I believe the government uses these things as tools, because strictly a weapon is a tool. And could possibly this be a tool for the government? And they did something that they shouldn't have. It doesn't make sense. It's actually really got him spun. They normally don't receive calls, you know, and if they do, it's all of them, and they all will contact each other, you know. So on a normal, if something were to go down, let's say he gets a call, he'd call all his friends, not friends, but work brothers, and they would go, hey, did you get the call? Yep, ... And they'd go and report in and go to wherever they needed to be to patrol the line, make sure there was no migrants coming in, and if there were, go by the book. It's a very procedural job that they have. It's not just just a crap show. They have certain guidelines that they have to follow. But there's no guideline written in their books about these creatures attacking people. You know, if they come upon cartel hurting women, children, men, they actually cannot intervene, even on American soil, unless more higher up border agents are there. So it really is a crazy scenario. So they just went off the seat of their pants when they saw this monster attacking the people. You know, he doesn't know what to do. I said, you know, you don't even have to communicate with me anymore. I said, if it's going to cause any kind of disruption to your life or any kind of whatever, I don't want this on my conscience. You know, like, I don't want you to be talking to me one day and then one day you're not even, your phone's just disconnected and you're gone. He said he believes he'll be fine, but he's gonna take it easy on contacting me for the next day or two. But he needs to figure out what and where his friend went. He really does believe that he was a target for those men that interviewed them. He doesn't even know who these men were. They don't work for the agency that he works for. They obviously work for a higher up agency. And it could be the reason why this man is no longer in the public eye or his family's eye or wherever, whatever you want to call it, is because he wasn't supposed to take that shot. You know, these things, just from what Victor alone has said, you know, and then there was an article that I read about a woman getting saved. I believe she was a teacher. I forgot. I wish I had printed the article out. I had thought I had saved it, but during the hostage rescue mission, what she heard was gunfire. This is exact words in the article that I read. What I heard was gunfire in what appeared to, or what seemed to be, wild animals running through, killing my captors. Shortly after, there was more gunfire, and then I was taken away by American Special Forces. Victor has plainly stated that these creatures have been used for missions like that. Now, a lot of people got it mixed up and were like, well, Victor said they never went outside of the United States hunting these creatures. No, he never has. But the United States supposedly uses these creatures out of country. I don't know. I'm not in the know. You know what I mean? All I know is what Victor has shared with me, what this guy is sharing with me, the strange emails that I've gotten from the CIA.gov. So to me, all of this really does make sense, but really it doesn't. And it's pretty scary if you think about it. Anyway, I do think that this gentleman was targeted, because if it was used as a tool, and I'm not the only channel that talks about this, you know, prior to, you know, Victor coming on my show, not many people were talking about this, but then Victor come on my show and I got a bunch of crap, and then all of a sudden people are talking about this, you know, bigger channels, littler channels. It's almost like a copy game, but all I know is what I've been told, what I've learned, and what I've figured out myself by listening to people and interviewing people and just plain out talking to people. I do really believe that these things are harnessable. Not all, but I think the reason why this guy went missing is because he shouldn't have shot that Dogman. And like he said to me, he said, Jeff, these two guys were more concerned with the 2 shots that were taken if we tracked the creature than the men, women, and children who had just been massacred savagely in front of us. So, to me, that only says U.S. government is harnessing these creatures. I'm going to reach out to Victor a little later on today and see what's going on. I know that he wanted a couple days or a day with his kid, and that's why I didn't reach out yesterday, but I'm going to reach out today and see if I can get him to share some information with us and quite possibly figure out if this is U.S. government involved Dogman hunting migrants coming across the border, Dogman hunting homeless. I saw in the comment section there was a guy that he states, coincidentally, Dogman attacks are always in locations where homeless or migrant people are, where there is, this and that. And I said, these things have been targeting people who are forgotten for years. Like, it's almost like our country. Here's a perfect example. Our country, I have met a lot of people from the West Virginia area, Appalachian area, people that I don't look at these people like that because I've met them and I think they're some of the kindest people I've ever met. But a lot of Americans who don't know these people, look at them like they are less than or less educated, inbred, drug addicts, this and that. Nah, that's not even the deal, man. I mean, they have their addiction problems, but the government came in and stole all their freaking land, made them work, took their coal, and then left them with nothing. So of course, it's almost like the government forgot our country, not the government, the country forgot about the Appalachian people. And what happens when, bad things start to occur, I do think that Dogmen and these types of creatures are drawn to negativity, human emotion that is negative, people who need help, people who, I mean, it's just something that I've started to, within the last year and a half, realize that these creatures target people who are really in a bind. Homeless, migrants, drug addicted people, whether in recovery or not. And it's really starting to weird me out a little bit, because throughout the time that I've been doing this, there are people who have issues with addiction that have these encounters. There are people who have mental illnesses that have these encounters. Homelessness, this and that. It's crazy. And I really think these things target that out. They somehow can hone in on the negativity, the helplessness and hopelessness. And that's a perfect location for them to hunt. So, I don't know. But I really do think that this guy has disappeared for that reason. The gentleman that I had spoken to went over to the home of his coworker and went into work. His vehicle wasn't there. No one knew if he was there or not. It was a pretty messed up case, pretty strange. So with that, I'm going to keep you in the know, but it's something important that I wanted to share with you guys because it really does point to the obvious that these things are being used as government weapons. With that, stay safe. Wait, you know what? Here, I'm not even going to end it there. Perfect example. Brad just went out to take pictures one day. Brad's already killed one. And the government stops him and says, "What are you up to?" They know. And they don't like it when we mess with these creatures for some reason. But you know what? They mess with us. What are we supposed to do? What are we honestly supposed to do? We supposed to get attacked by these creatures and not fight back? No. These are bloodthirsty, rage-filled monsters. And we're red-blooded Americans who want our woods back. What happens? Anyway, stay safe, guys. Stay healthy. May the Great Spirit watch over us all. May He guide us down that path that we call life.